Greetings, this is Tyra Olafemi, your goddess guru, here to share a word of inspiration for you along your path to self realization and self mastery. This is part two of the Divination 2013 reading for the Goddess Body Mind Spirit community and anyone who wants to listen to it and utilize the wisdom, which is not mine. I'm just sharing what is given to me and what I apply in my own life. Um, So the energy that has spoken very strongly is the energy of Shango. I did several solstice readings, and Shango, I think, spoke in all of them, if not all, the majority. And when I saw that Heru is the reading or the card that I pulled, the energy that spoke, for this reading, I thought, wow, this is truly a time for us to consider the wisdom of Heru. So, when we talk about this energy, one of the main things that I'm hearing, this is the energy of a leader. And oftentimes in a career, it signifies a manager, a leader in the workforce. And what I heard that I need to ask everyone is, how are you managing your life? Are you a good manager? 2013 is a year for you to take control of your life and be a good manager of it. There's no more need for messiness. It's no more need for willy-nilly living. This is a time to take leadership in your life, take leadership in how you operate day in, day out, moment by moment, across time. How are you managing your life? And the question is, do some of us may not even know how to be good managers of our life? And in the last reading, part one that I did, I talked about the 4 keys to self mastery. Those 4 keys alone can help you get started. Because one of the things that I know for a fact is when you're a leader, you have to be aware. You have to be very aware. There is no, when the higher ups come to you and something went wrong, they're not hearing, well, so and so did, I think, I don't know what happened. They're not hearing all of this. They're going to say, it is your fault. You have to be aware. If you're aware as a manager of people on a job and you can see that something is coming down the pipeline, then you can give a heads up. We see this problem coming up. We just wanted to let the higher ups know this is what is going on. And then we talked about devotion. Managers have to be very devoted to their staff. They have to be devoted to their company. Managers have to show a high level of devotion. You have to care so much about your product, your industry. You have to have devotion. You have to, pay attention to it, nurture it, and be very committed to sticking and staying. Times get rough, and when times get rough, everyone's looking to the leader, and they will be saying, what are we going to do? And we can't have leaders just no stick and stay. They're losing themselves. They're taking flight and running at the first little problem that shows up. Devotion is key. Commitment, sticking and staying, being in there, nurturing it, doing everything you can to make whatever you're managing super successful. Also, managers have rituals. There's certain things, reports, there's certain ways of being, certain ways of operating that a leader, a manager has to have in order to make sure everything gets done and stay on top of who needs to do what needs to get done. And so those rituals that we talked about, what are the rituals that you could use to become a better manager of your life, the more aware you are, the more you're going to realize, oh, I need to do this or I need to do that. Let's say it's something with your health. You're now a good manager of the Department of Health, your Department of Health, your body's health. Um, if you're walking aware, you're going to know. Maybe it's a change in food, or maybe it's a change in exercise. Maybe you need to go see a doctor. And I'll tell anyone, I'm one of the main ones that I do not like going to the doctor unless I absolutely have to go. Some of you need to go. I know for a fact there are a lot of people that avoid going. The more you avoid it, the bigger the problem gets. So just go so that you can get a handle of it. Or go to a chiropractor, go to your nurse practitioner, go to a naturopath, go get a colonic. There's so many different things that you can look at as a manager of your health and determine what steps you need to take to improve them. And for some of us, the steps are huge and gargantuan and look like a big monster that you can't win against. Well, I like thinking about the little boy, David. Well, I guess he wasn't that little, but he was pretty young, who went against the giant Goliath. No one else could go against this big giant human. And this boy took him down with a slingshot. I've been saying to myself, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. One little slingshot thing at a time. Shoot it. Claim your health. A good manager will say, we'll start in one area and we'll work from there. Okay? You're not going to be able to slay the giant in one big slingshot, even though some do. You know, I don't like to limit people. If you can take care of that thing just like that, more power to you. But the majority of us, we're going to have to take one step at a time. So you need to work with your inner manager, it's simple, to determine where to start. And just start somewhere. Start somewhere. Maybe it's in your finances. Maybe it's in your relationships. Maybe it's in your spirituality or your mental health. But the manager in you will need to figure out what needs to get done and then start making assignments as to what we will do and write them down so you don't forget them. If you're like me, you're going to forget everything. I'm so busy. I have to write it down. And then a good manager also has faith. I talked about having faith in oneself, the wisdom, the divinity within us. Have faith in it. And a good manager will have faith in himself or herself. A good manager is one that really believes in their company or their product or their service. They really believe in it. They have faith in it. And what I talked about is, okay, see, I'm using the words interchangeably, and they're not interchangeably. They have faith. They know that what they're doing is good. And so it causes them to not waver. There's no need to waver, okay? Be a good manager of yourself. Be a leader of your own self. Some of us need to stop leading other people to avoid taking care of our own selves. What do? We go fix everyone else. No more of that this year. 2013, this is a year to lead yourself. Take responsibility for your life. We are co-creators. We dig the ditches that we find ourselves in. Yes, life happens. Things come up that, especially when we were kids, we felt like we had no control over. But see, when we don't limit ourselves to believing we're just this, and we allow our consciousness to expand, and we know ourselves as God consciousness in a body. Some people would say a soul, a spirit that's limitless. We're like, or beyond this, but if you think about the sky, when have you ever seen the sky run out? That is our true selves. And when you think about how limitless you are, if there is some trauma that happened, when you really allow yourself to expand into the greater you, and you walk from that place, you're not just this. you know yourself to be greater than all of that, then the thing that happened to you, the things that happened to you, the traumas that happened, whatever it could be. Because some of it was just something really small, and it's now become a festering wound. And some of us have some major stuff going on. Whatever. When you go into that expanded understanding of yourself, it's almost like it didn't happen. It's a faint, distant memory. We cannot let those things we cannot allow those things to define us. Those negative situations, those negative teachings, those negative experiences, they cannot define us, okay? And so even if we allow them to define us and we let our lives run amok and it's just a mess, I mean a big mess, and we got one of those big monsters looking at us like, oh my God, I dug myself into a hole that is really, really bad. Admit it. I dug myself into this hole. Because the good news is we can dig ourselves out of it. Okay, take responsibility for your life. So what does Heru teach also, in addition to the management aspect and taking responsibility of your life, ties into what I'm about to say, which is that we cannot be controlled by our emotions. We cannot be controlled by our emotions. What happens is we get programmed. Most of us do not go through the proper rites of passages that keep us unified in our consciousness regarding who we are. To a certain degree, the birth process alone confers a level of forgetfulness. And if steps and measures are not taken to help that baby grow and remember who he or she really is, then the level of forgiveness gets even deeper. And so because most of us don't really know the truth of who and what we are, we get programmed. We have this software. Good news about software, you can change it. You can upgrade it. You don't even have to change it. Upgrade it. And this program becomes our personal truth. This program sometimes is so much a part of who we are, we can't even differentiate ourselves from it. And so we begin to operate from this programming. We operate, our parents will tell us this is who you are, and this is what you believe, and this is what you think. Or maybe they don't tell us anything. And we just figure it out from the world. The world will say, this is who you are, and this is how you're supposed to be, and this is what you want. And maybe we have an experience of A or B or C or D. And some of these experiences are wonderful, and some of them are terrible. I mean, it's just so many. I mean, it's just infinite number of things that contribute to this programming. Well, if we're not aware, there's that word again, aware of the programming, then we will operate from that. And oftentimes it will lead us to an emotional state. Now, we are emotional beings. Again, when we think about self-realization, our body is our physical body, but we have an emotional body, we have a mental body. Some people will say we have several different layers. This is not just the body. I mean, it's so many layers, and just because we can't see them doesn't mean that they're not there, but you experience them. And so we were born to be emotional beings because emotions give us information. So that's how we need to look at our emotions. What information am I getting from my emotions? What programming is this emotion speaking to? Is this emotion evolving me, or is it causing me to move backwards in my development? Is it causing stagnation? Is this emotion allowing me to be fully who and what I am, or is it more of, some type of protective response of my ego? These are the questions that we need to ask. Again, awareness. I just can never get away from that word of what triggered the emotion. And sometimes you have to kind of go back in your mind because whatever triggered it today more than likely, that's not really the real issue. The real issue has more to do with what happened a long time ago. And so this 2013 is a year to look at your programming. It is a year to not respond emotionally, because oftentimes when we respond emotionally, our decisions are not in alignment with the highest and greatest good for our lives. We have to look at our destiny. And everything we do, we want to be leading us toward our destiny. Is that emotion taking you to your dreams and your goals, or is it taking you away from those dreams and goals? So we don't want to respond emotionally. We do want to we don't want the emotions to control us. There's no way we can get away from our emotions, because like I said, we were designed to have emotions, but we can use them as information, not a basis for action. Okay? So it's very important, like I said, to look at your programming. And again, it's all about taking responsibility. Okay, I have this programming, and it just causes me to be like this or that, or like this or that, or whatever that, it causes you. For some, it's great, okay? For some, the programming was perfect. And I love meeting people like that, because they help give hope that I, too, can transform myself into that. So what we want to do is to choose. There's a book that I love called Sacred Contracts by Caroline Myss. And in this book, she talks about how we have all these different aspects of ourselves. There are 4 that are common to everyone, and the other 8, each individual gets to choose those other 8. But there are 4 that are common to everyone. The child, the wounded child, or just child, the saboteur, the victim, and the prostitute. So when we talk about choice, we're talking about the saboteur. How many of us engage in regular self-sabotage? Okay? What we have to do when we begin to feel we're sabotaging ourselves is we have to say, I live by choice. You live by choice. I don't care what it looks like. It's easy for me to say, because my life is easy. I'm not saying I have a problem-free life, but when I think about how some people live in this world at large, I realize, wow, I have it so easy, okay? But it's the truth. If I was born into a more hostile environment or negative environment, I just think about people that just don't have seemingly choice in their lives. But we always have choice. We always must realize we can choose. And for those of y'all that live in a free world, please choose. No excuses for 2013. Tell yourself, this is a no excuse world for me. 2013, no excuses. So live by choice. Be responsible. Don't just go crazy in your emotions. The other thing about emotions is they can be addictive. Sometimes addictions stem from our emotions. You're trying to numb out that feeling, and you'll use anything you can. Oh, people want to talk about cigarettes, drugs, alcohol. Well, I like to talk about other stuff too, such as being addicted to an emotion, such as depression or anger, or being addicted to food. How many of us really want to admit that? Most don't. It's an embarrassing thing. Some of us are addicted to abuse, abusive relationships, drama. Your life just doesn't feel right if you don't have drama going on. It's no judgment on any of it. I'm just saying we all need to just admit it's so many different ways of being addicted. I have one friend that said TV. She knew when she was out of order, when she got addicted to watching TV too much. She would just be in front of TV all day, life is passing her by. Some of us are addicted to helping people. We can't not help. Okay, please. We need to believe and know and trust that, guess what? They're going to be okay if I don't do anything. I've seen too many people who were like that, and when they die, everybody just kept going some kind of way magically. Okay? I'm just saying, be real with yourself. If you have an addiction, just be real with yourself. But some people are truly addicted to emotion. Emotions have a biological, biochemical effect in our body. We literally feel something. I remember when I was having to do some intensive work around emotions, and I realized I was addicted to anger. I've always considered myself to be one of the most peaceful people on the face of the planet. One love, baby. One love. Ooh. When I started to get real with myself about my emotions, I began to realize I need a fear fix. A anger fix. Oh, fear, that's another one. Some people are addicted to fear. Some people are addicted to depression. And so we have to create all these situations so we can get our fix, our emotional fix. So some of what you're doing, and the more you engage it, the more you stay there. So it's so important to reprogram ourselves so that we now crave a different experience, such as peace, love, harmony, where those other negative emotions become so uncomfortable that all we want to do is get back to that feel-good place. I do, in my heart of heart, believe that we're here to experience joy, peace, and love. There will be times where things don't feel good, but our destiny, our birthright is only goodness. So this is a year to look at your addictions. What are you addicted to? And to make the choice. Just about every addict I know chose to get off drugs. It's no magic pill. You just make the choice that I'm not going down that road again. I'd rather die than to keep going down the road of addiction. You just make the choice. You make the choice just to deal with the withdrawal. You just make the freaking choice. Live by choice, okay? If you have addiction to something, just say, I'm not going to do it anymore. And what ends up happening is it loses power. Another question to ask yourself for 2013 is, am I walking in my full power? Am I giving my power away? Walk in your power, but you've got to know who you are, because if all you believe is this is you, then more than likely you're going to never feel like you have any power. When did you first feel like you lost power? Go back to that time. Reclaim it, okay? Reclaim your power by choosing. That's a certified, bona fide way of really tapping into your power. I choose. Choose everything. Don't let anyone choose anything for you. You choose. Follow the wisdom within you. It will show you what to choose. So we're talking about power. And discipline is very important this year. It's very important to have discipline. That is such a challenging thing for so many of us. But the more we're disciplined, we take those small steps to get to where we want to go. Okay? So discipline is key to manifesting that which you desire in 2013. So what we have to do is understand how this universe operates. And when we talk about willpower, most people think, oh, I'm just going to just really be strong and push my way through this thing. Gotta have a lot of courage, Gotta push my way through this. But willpower is a little bit more than that. Willpower, if you would consider a garden, there's the earth, and if we want to plant a garden, then we sprinkle seed into the earth, and then we wait for the plants to come forth, and they produce fruit and all that kind of good stuff, or veggies or whatever, flowers. So what we want to do is to look at our consciousness in that way. Our consciousness, and this is our approach to willpower, our consciousness is the earth. Our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions are the seed, and they give the fruits of those thoughts. See, there is the omniscience of the universe, the wisdom of the universe, that figures out how to make everything manifest in our lives in the perfect way. And the omnipotence, the power of the universe, of the divine, will just power it into action. And all we have to do is just go with it. But a lot of us fight it because we don't believe, or we have negative thoughts. We say we want one thing, and then we think another. And so it's kind of hard to get what you want when we're not really believing we're going to get it. But anyway, that's how willpower works. So this is a year for you to focus on your willpower. Think about the truth is we are consciousness, and the way we have experience in this physical world is through our thoughts, our feelings, and emotions. Our programming oftentimes will dictate to us what we're going to be sprinkling into our consciousness, the garden of our consciousness. And the omnipotence will just power it up and make it come out. That's why I said, take responsibility for your life. Change your thoughts. If you don't like what you're seeing, change your thoughts and see if something different happens. Every time I change my thought, my experience changes. We have habits, habitual ways of thinking. And that's why I said walking aware. One of the keys of self-mastery, walk aware. What do I habitually think day in and day out? Pay attention to what you are thinking. Pay attention to what you are feeling. Pay attention to what you're remembering. And it takes a lot of courage to move from one place to the next sometimes. But courage doesn't mean that you don't have fear. And I know people have heard people say this, but it's true. It doesn't mean that you don't have fear. It means that you take the necessary steps despite the fear. We don't want fear to be a predominant emotion. We want our predominant way of operating, our habitual way of being to be courageous. We want to be courageous. Okay, we want to have courage. This is a year to be a warrior. What are you going to be a warrior for? What are you going to be a champion of? Be a warrior for your own self. You know, sometimes when I think about warriors, they have swords. A lot of times that warrior slice and dice something, you know? What do you need to fight out of your life? Be a warrior for yourself. Be a spiritual warrior. Share the wonder and goodness through good acts of spirituality. When Heru speaks, this is the same as Shango, the energy of the drum. Drumming is very important in 2013. Maybe you're a drummer. Maybe you want to dance to drumming. Maybe you just want to listen to drumming. But when we think about the drum, we think about our heartbeat. This is a year for you to think about what's in your heart. What is in your heart? Heru governs the heart. And the heart beats to the drum. What makes your heart, that drum beat, just feel so good? Where you feel like your authentic self, your real you. So listen to your heart. This is a year where we need to focus on having a healthy heart. Physically, emotionally, mentally. So, of course, cardiovascular exercise is very important this year. And you have to choose what kind of cardiovascular exercise is good for you. But we want to have good cardiovascular health. Eat in ways that lead you to where your veins are healthy and your heart is healthy, your blood is strong. You know, it's all about the heart. It's all about following your heart. It's all about, don't store anything negative here. Only allow goodness to flow out and share good works with others. Let's see here. This is a year where if you feel like you need some divine protection, that you can call on the energy of Heru Shango. This is masculine energy. Another name is Michael, from the Archangel Michael. And so if you feel like you need extra protection, you can just call on this energy to just envelop you and keep you safe, and it shall. Um, there was something else I was going to say and I lost it. Heru, Shango, Archangel Michael. Live according to your heart. Be courageous. Know who you are. And have crystal clear intentions. And plant it in your consciousness so that you can have great things made manifest. I went to the Mayan Oracle, and I just want to say, I didn't like all that joking about the 2012 Mayan Oracle. The Mayan Oracle is powerful. But the energy that spoke is men. And men says that we need to have hope. We need to have commitment. So have hope. Find the hope. Okay? Find hope. Find the good and praise it. Again, this is a year of compassionate service. We want to have a global consciousness. This is a time for us to share our good thoughts with the world. It may not seem like it'll make a difference, but it will. Be more aware of what's going on in the world. It'll help you understand your world. Maybe even give you a vision to make manifest. Dreams and visions. What are your dreams? What do you envision for your life? And again, belief in oneself. And it talks about that sometimes like I talked about, we're obsessed with helping others, rescuing others, saving them, not being able to say no, loss of hope and meaning in life, and feelings of futility. But instead, what we have to do is to temper service with nourishment and rest. You have to believe in yourself, follow your own visions and dreams, and remember the purpose and commitment you have in a larger pattern, which means, you have a specific reason for being here, and you need to do it. You need to go on ahead and do that. So this is the reading for 2013. Let me just say one more thing. All of this applies to your relationships. All of this applies to your career. All of this applies to your health. Okay? So, the main question I asked in the beginning is, how are you managing your life? How are you managing your career? How are you managing your health? How are you managing your relationships? We talked about choice. What choices are you making regarding your career, your relationships, your health? Okay? So everything I said applies to all those areas in your life. Well, if I can remember what this little nagging thing is at the back of my head that I'm trying to remember, I'll make sure I make another video. I do appreciate you taking time to watch this video. If you would like personal divination for the year 2013, you can go to my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com, and I'll put it down at the bottom for you so you can see it, and request a reading, and I'll be more than happy. I will actually be honored to assist you in that way. And I will see you in the next video, which will come up again soon. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings in the new year. Feliz Año Nuevo. I'm learning Spanish, people. All right, peace.